Sachin Tendulkar played his second test match against Pakistan, and there was a discussion going on whether next Sunil Gavaskar is coming, and the response was no. New Sachin Tendulkar is coming, not next Sunil Gavaskar. Same is like Pune. Why like Bangalore? Pune has many more advantages.
Well, I feel good we don't have an image. We have an opportunity to build, and I feel it's a big advantage for Pune.
Every state of India is equal to one country of Europe, right?
Yeah.
But we did not have that buying power, but now that buying power is getting generated in India.
We might see Nilon limited edition and Chitale limited edition in times to come.
So thank you to all our guests and panelists and taking out time to grace us with their presence at the event today. So again, we are back for the fireside. We're supposed to start with some general questions for the panel as such, not very specific. Something about your hometown, about Pune, right? So Pune has been called many things in the last decade or so, right? Asia's Detroit, the next Bangalore, so forth and so on. What do you all think about this? Is this, whenever we speak to anybody from, say, Singapore or a US about Pune, it doesn't really, ring a bell very specifically about what Pune stands for. Do you all think it's a missed opportunity or something that needs to be capitalized on, or what is your personal thoughts around it?
If I recall, when Sachin Tendulkar played his second test match against Pakistan, and there was a discussion going on whether next Sunil Gavaskar is coming, and the response was no. New Sachin Tendulkar is coming, not next Sunil Gavaskar. Same is like Pune. Why like Bangalore? Pune has many more advantages. Bangalore is digital. We are physical plus digital, because there is manufacturing, there is biotech, education, innovation, everything. So we must go ahead, and rather than copying someone else, there is a lot of scope because the canvas is comparatively clean. We just saw the data, how Pune is progressing so fast. So definitely we are seeing much more brighter future here.
Anybody else who would like to present a view?
Well, I feel good we don't have an image. We have an opportunity to build, and I feel it's a big advantage for Pune. If I see through my lens, I would put in backronomy, or you can say team. We have technology, engineering, academics, manufacturing. Technology, I don't need to say, we have big institutes from CDAC to SIPCOT to DRDO and so on and so forth, many things. On the engineering front, we have now the GCCs are coming up, more than 500 GCCs coming up in Pune, which will be around 14%. We will be the GCC hub of India, 14% plus. We have the old horses like Tata Technology, Wipros, Bosch, and so on and so forth. Academics, I don't need to say, we were called the Oxford of East. And finally, in manufacturing, we have the largest legacy. Bajaj Auto completed 100 years last year, and Tata Motors, and so on and so forth. So we have all the ingredients. I would say the composition of Pune is one of the fabulous, which actually allows us to take all this, the synergy of all the technology when I see through our business to take us globally. Now it is all up to us. How do we build companies for global, not to just operate in Pune? It's our call, literally.
100%. So definitely an opportunity to be leveraged on, right? So if for any of you, given a choice, if you had to settle your most talented child, and given an opportunity, if you had to make a choice between moving abroad or settling and building a career in Pune, what would be your choice? And whatever the answer is, whether yes or no, what would be the key things that need to change for you to flip that answer, right? So for the answer to change from a go abroad to a confident stay in Pune.
My both boys are here, so and we decide to build here, and Bharat mein reh ke Bharat banayenge. So that's the very clear. So we believe that we are on the path of becoming the world's largest economy, and it's us who are going to do it. So what we require is, I believe Pune. Adding to what the both of them said, I am also from a smaller tier 3 town of Jalgaon, and I moved to Pune, and I believe jo kehte Pune is Vidya che Maher Ghar. So this city gets fresh every year because thousands and thousands of students come study here from different parts of the country, and half of them decide to stay here. So it's always get fresh every year, and I guess that ecosystem is very rare to have because you're getting fresh ideas, fresh minds. The hunger actually comes from the tier 3 towns. Those children come here and they settle here. So the city is always hungry because it's building. So I believe Pune has that, and if people grow in that ecosystem, creations happen.
Lovely. I think it's one of the best.
I will say that I will say to my child, I mean, he has been to US for his studies. Even I went to US for my studies and came back and settled in Sangamner and now shifted to Pune, Sangamner. Like out of our class, about 7 of my batchmates, we all went to US for studies. But I had that very much in my mind that I want to come back and be with my home country.
In fact, that's
we have
commendable.
to give best global opportunities to them, but we have to create, the people sitting here can definitely create a global setup in Pune so that it attracts that talent back to Pune rather than they staying back there.
In fact, that just brings me to a thought. What, in your opinion, is something what Pune requires right now in terms of infrastructure build-up or any kind of element that can take Pune from being a major manufacturing hub, or entrepreneurial hub, to a kind of a global city? Is there something you feel the city is lacking which should be done or changed over, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years, not a very long time? Anything which you feel that a gap that has to be filled, and because of that it can just leapfrog to a different zone altogether?
We need a best executor, I will say. Somebody who can execute and create best infrastructure for Pune. Ideas are many, but the executor and agency executing it at a speed is what is needed. Best infrastructure, best roads, commuting, airport, several things. But there is a potential.
Infrastructure is the main thing, in your opinion.
Executor to create that.
So that will be more from the government side or from the private side?
Yeah, I mean, the political will is a big challenge in Pune because we have so many silos working independently and doing so many things. If there is somebody who integrates this well, I believe there is an opportunity where we can move that tier up and actually deliver to the potential that the geography has.
Completely agree.
So my next question is specifically for Haresh sir, right? So you are not only just a distributor of semiconductors, you are an ecosystem enabler, right? You, from what I've heard, you actually get into the actual design of the product, get into the nitty-gritties of what the customer actually wants, and then you ship the exact product from the the production site in Chakan to your customer in Shenzhen, or Singapore, or wherever he is. So why would you want to take such a difficult route, right? So why not build something much simpler? And what would it take for somebody to build a truly global business, as you had said, out of Pune?
Well, I started, my beginning was pretty humble. I started as a pure trading company. What we understood that customers don't just need components, and over the time, when we went back and again thought that what is the customer's pain point, we understood that customers need support on the technology, on the design front, on the entire kitting. They need parts on time, in full. They need testing. So if you become only the guy who wants to move boxes from one place to another, it won't give you that stickiness. And we wanted to build a platform. Today we touch the customer life from start, from the concept to the end of the line. We do everything. The moment they think about designing a product, we get in, we give them options to find, you can say, the right component which will sit on the board. If they need the entire designing, we offer them the entire designing. From there, they can build the complete solution. We have reference solutions which we build in-house through our application engineering team, and then we reach out to all the ODMs and the tier ones. And finally, if they need the entire kit, we offer them the entire kit on depending on weekly, daily basis, JIT services. And last, if they want to test the product, we do that as well, which is coming up. And finally, we will do the certification. That's the whole game. So we want to build a platform where once the customer is in, we set it out.
Sounds really complex, but at the same time, for somebody completely non-tech, sounds complex, but at the same time sounds very inspiring. So my wife actually manages policy for Cisco. The government of India has been really pushing them to move some bit of their manufacturing from China to India.
Correct.
And some of what you mentioned, some of the issues or opportunities that you mentioned were exactly the points that a company like Cisco actually presents in front of the government to make a case against manufacturing in India vis-a-vis China. But however, needless to say, the government doesn't lose hope. They keep pushing them. But yeah, great insights.
But government is pushing a lot.
Yes,
Today,
yes.
Probably last 3 decades I'm in this business, I have never seen the amount of tailwinds we are getting, and particularly for this industry. The amount of PLI, the incentive schemes.
Yes.
I think so we are heading there.
In fact, that just gets me to a point where, what is it that Millennium is exactly doing differently to the competition? And how do you think so Millennium is going to contribute to the city of Pune over, let's say, 10 years?
See, what we are trying to build here is, as I earlier explained, once any electronic industry is there, it would be in Pune, in Maharashtra, or across pan-India and overseas. We are trying to see that we offer one-stop solution. Starting from their designing to the last point when the life of the product is the end. How we can support them. Today, when you compare us to our peers, generally they have franchise lines, as we have around 100+ lines. They buy component and they sell. The demand creation activity is pretty low compared to what we do. Because we come from a background, we have, the peers or the competitors are the multinationals of the world, $30 billion, $40 billion companies. And how do we change the game? Then that's where we started our application engineering team, R&D team, way back in 2009, when none of the distributors in the world.
And it was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it was way ahead of its time. People are laughing. Why the hell you need an R&D when you are a so-called trader that time? And that's where we saw the gap coming in. And slowly and steadily we started bridging up, and that's giving us an edge today.
I can so relate to it. While my journey has been very nascent, I'm just a young kid on the block as far as the entrepreneurship. When I spoke about technology in wealth management for UHNIs, most of the stalwarts said, what is technology going to do in this? And I mean, quite dismissed to the thought of it as well. And when this recent series came in Titan, and if people have seen the Titan, there was one boardroom scene where the Tata board was dismissing that quads cannot come. I could so relate to it that my thought of bringing technology into wealth management was equally vehemently dismissed. That amongst biggies, if they cannot build technology, how can you even think, and you are not a techie even? So I can so relate to this.
Adding to that, now we are putting up a testing center where we will test the entire board, and we are trying to see, we will be NABL certified, definitely, how we can, facilitate with the government, and if we can do pre-compliance for BIS or different, we will do C certification. We are trying to see how we can reduce the time to market for a customer. Today designing takes probably depending on the product from 6 months to 3 years. How we can curtail that time? How we can contribute in their journey? One. Secondary, now we are building center of excellence also.
Okay.
How we can, prepare the future engineers? How we can help the industry to give ready manpower? So that's all coming. How we are, in short, we are trying to build an ecosystem which helps the company, and we become the enablers of this industry.
Brilliant. Rajesh, sir, I'm coming next to you. Seen, read, heard about you a lot, and I had the chance to meet Harsh also last week. One thing what really stuck to my mind is the kind of diversified business the family has got into. I mean, there's no correlation into the kind of business streams the family has got: entertainment, FMCG. What is the family decision-making matrix before you decide upon getting into a business? Because it's so uncorrelated.
Yeah, well, we have a joint family where now 8 members are actively involved, plus 3 ladies. So we wanted that everybody to have some kind of vertical to prove his mettle. Rather than too many cooks in one kitchen, we diversified into various lines. Tobacco has been our ancestors' business, but that's a sunset industry, and we wanted to diversify into better lines. So initially it was renewable energy in 2001, which was really picking up, and government, and we also thought that it's the best thing, green energy. Then in 2005 at Shirdi, we decided for this water park, because Shirdi is a spiritual place. A lot of people keep coming there, and after darshan there was nothing else to do. So this first water park was built there. Then we went into education also and real estate. So all these verticals are being looked after by different brothers, but all together.
In fact, identifying the Shirdi example is completely out of the box outlook to identify an opportunity. Well, you mentioned earlier that you went abroad, came back, and you went to Sanghavi. I mean, it sounds highly inspirational to even think that such a large business has been built out of a city which has, I think, so 50,000-60,000 people, I guess. Yeah. That should be the population. How do you channelize resources over there, manage resources over there? Because we find it difficult in Gurgaon. How do you do it in Sanghavi?
See, we followed the principle of our late President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He had given this mantra of Pura, P-U-R-A, provide urban facilities in rural area. And we tried to create best health club there, where all, health facilities
so you've
are
created
there.
An ecosystem which can be...
Yes, best school, which, you won't find such schools even in cities. Best naturopathy center, a multiplex also. It's kind of not profitable, but we created it so that young staff coming there can have all, basically health also. So one hospital also charitable where, so all kind of these urban facilities, whatever are possible, we try to create that in Sanghavi, and it really attracts, and the kind of talent that we get, at times they join the business immediately after their education and they retire from our organization. So that kind of loyalty you get in a small place, because in cities they will have many options.
Yeah.
Once they settle in a small town, we provide them best housing also, whatever possible. Like, then the life there is different, and Corona has again moved some of the good talent back to smaller towns.
Back to smaller cities.
Many times we search on Naukri.com, our HR search, the good candidates that have gone out of Sanghavi and working at a top positions elsewhere, and they are willing to come back. They want to be with their parents.
Wow.
So there is opportunity there. Obviously, it's not so easy. As you said, we find it tough in Gurgaon, so it is tough. But there are ways, and if we look at possibilities, there are much more than difficulties.
No, I completely understand, and the way you have put it simply, it's it's not as easy as it is being put across. Well, Aditya.
Deepak ji, let's talk Nilon.
अरे आप चितड़े को डेजर्ट मत समझिए यार, लास्ट में पूछेंगे कि अभी तक आवाज ही नहीं सुना। वो डेजर्ट नहीं है, बाकी बड़ी बातें भी है।
He has not sponsored the Bhakarwadi. That is the reason he has been kept at the last.
No, that was not nothing deliberate. So let me assure you, nothing deliberate. So that is what the flow was. Yeah. So
it's my favorite. I'm a foodie. If I would not have done a WealthTech company, I would have probably done something in food. Now, the most difficult thing when I think about food is perishability, shelf life, while high degree of automation is happening in food. Where is it that the automation really ends in this business? And how do you really navigate this business to a larger scale with high quality of standardization? Because food is something, if your next packet does not taste the same, your consumer goes away. It's a very high risk and high operating business. So how do you navigate through this tough business, and what processes you have built it out to be there?
See, I think food sits on that complex point simply because we have to appeal to the emotion and the nostalgia as well. So automation is there to make sure that we keep delivering it again and again and again at a steady hit rate. But it is to make lesser mistakes and not just to simply enable scale. So very often automation is helping us solve certain key limitations that the traditional Indian food industry has. But I don't think so that becomes a point of marketing simply because the customer is actually caring for the taste and experience. So that's why how do we blend this seamlessly is where we always have to be prudent about how are we positioning the automation angle as well as the communication and the brand angle together. And wherever that blends in well and scale is achieved, then the boundaries are endless because we are able to sell packets anywhere in the world now. So from a point where we were restricted to a pin code, where now any pin code in the world is serviceable. That's enabled because we can deliver the same experience across all the pin codes. So that's why I think automation is just an enabler. It's not something that's going to change the way the experience evolves. It can keep the experience steady, is what I believe.
Great. I must compliment my mother loves your Bhakarwadi, and thanks for putting up a kiosk on the airport. So while I'm exiting, I always get a chance to pick it up. But I haven't seen your outlets in Delhi, Gurgaon. What is your growth plan? Do you want to remain restricted into certain geographies, or do you want to physically, through quick commerce you can reach out anywhere. But do you actually think of expanding physically across and also looking at expanding your product line or diversifying on that?
See, there are 2-3 levers that are happening in parallel. One is, of course, the way the quick commerce business has grown across the country. It's actually more efficient to service the customer through that channel than have a very cost-heavy structure of opening stores all the time. But I think we've also figured the act right where we now know that what is our equation that behind how many dark stores and how many physical retailers do we enable a physical store, which is a branded store, which could be anything from a small kiosk going up to a restaurant. So that way, that model is something that we've now fixed. And eventually when that city or that region crosses a certain threshold is when we look into opening physical stores as well. Because till then, it's easier and more reliable to service customers through the distribution channel. So I think we call ourselves a omni-channel business. The reason behind it is the same that what we try to do is deliver the same brand value across different channels. But every channel has its own perks, drawbacks as well, and some innovation that is needed there. So that's why how do we use all of them together and bring that flywheel effect is what we're trying to do. I think we are very much present in the western part of the country. The eastern and the northern part, we're doing better with the quick commerce and the modern trade business. So eventually when it crosses a threshold further, we'll go into the physical stores as well.
We would love to have you towards Delhi.
Yeah, we are from Delhi, so Haldiram is our iconic Delhi food and snack and F&B brand. Would love to see Chitale also actively competing for shelf space, and probably if there are plans for any F&B initiatives. So coming back to Deepak ji, right? So the second best or second most popular flavor on the true Indians plate, which is pickles, right? So you took a lot of share from the thousands of unorganized players in the landscape. Since you did that very successfully, what are your future growth plans? As in, what do you where do you see Nilon say 10 years from now, so forth and so on?
Yeah. So we are a country जो Chinese भी देसी खाता है. So we love our taste. That's the country that we are. So we believe that Nilons today is known largely for pickle, though we have many more categories. But pickle is still a small category. It's only a 1,500 crore organized category. Still 12,000 crore of pickle is made at home. And that's max another generation. We believe after a generation, nobody will make pickles at home. And that's the market coming to us. So we envisaged that, and we did one thing very differently 3 years back. Kept Nilons as a master brand, but we created 17 brands for 17 states. So we have a Asal Marathi for Maharashtra. We have a Rangilo Rajasthan for Rajasthan.
I was in fact coming to that. So, as a distinct strategy, you decided to
Have
go
7.
hyper-local.
Hyper-local,
instead of creating a national brand.
Yeah, Nilons is a national brand, but you have Apan Bihar, Johar Jharkhand, Udiya Asmita, More Chhattisgarh.
So what makes you decide what stays local and what goes national?
Sir, taste has to be local. We all love maa ka haath ka khana, and there is science behind it. Because as per our neural wiring, whatever we taste first and repeatedly we taste that becomes our neural wiring, and every time that we taste anything else, our brain will go and compare with that original taste. Maa ka khana isliye favorite bolte because we have tasted that repeatedly and our brain has made a neural wiring. So the achar that we have had in our childhood repeatedly is the neural wiring taste for us. And hence, if you create a product which is hyper-local, that's what people are. You want to have something different for a change. But so people ask me that, is pickle dying as a category? Is the next generation having pickle? I believe that they are having different food. But 28 साल के बाद दाल चावल खिचड़ी चाहिए. नौकरी में आने के बाद, काम पे आने के बाद, they want that food, comfort food चाहिए ही चाहिए. So pickle is not dying. It has just moved from the age of 18 to 28, but it's going to be there because people don't forget the taste that they have been repeatedly consuming.
But then so hyperlocal sounds very good, sounds very attractive, aspirational, but what is the impact of the strategy on, say, your capacity planning or media spend or all the other associated hurdles that come with it?
The complexity is at the back end. So when you create 17 different recipes for the country, then the complexity is at the back end, but it's worth taking the complexity if you want to, because when we used to be in college, we used to say that every state of India is equal to one country of Europe, right? Yeah. But we did not have that buying power. But now that buying power is getting generated in India. So if you actually look at every state as one European country and create products and brands for that particular state, there is a large market for each sub-brand that we are creating. So it's worth taking the complexity at the back end. And in fact, nobody takes this complexity of doing so many sub-brands. That becomes our moat. Because if somebody is taking that differently, then you have an opportunity to speak that we are so hyper-local that we have a different recipe for different state, different sub-brands. So हम नहीं फिर हमारे customer भी हमारे बारे में same बातें करने लगते हैं. So starts becoming the mode that you are a different company. So that's how we are looking at it.
Completely agree. So from that perspective, 7.5 lakh retail outlets, touch points, that's incredible. Now with 7.5 lakh outlets, what is your strategy of going or multiplying or exponentially growing the number of outlets, or is it going to be larger outlets, or what is the sub strategy behind that? So
typically in FMCG sale, the sales is a multiplication of width multiplied by depth multiplied by velocity. So number of outlets that you serve is width, number of SKUs that you sell in an outlet is depth. And the percentage of share, if 5,000 rupees of pickle is sold in an outlet and you are selling 500 and you go to 1,500, that's the velocity. So beyond a point, width takes more cost to serve. Once you have reached a width, then depth and velocity is where a company should focus, because from the same outlet servicing, you are getting more throughput generated. So the journey from here is to work on the depth and width, get more SKUs in the same outlet, get more throughput from the same outlet. That's the journey.
These are mostly semi-urban, rural
Semi-urban,
outlets.
yes. So we reached to 3,300 distributors in India, 3,300, and reached to 7.5 lakh retail outlets. India has about 1 crore retail outlets.
Wow.
So we reached to 7.5 lakh.
And so, GST data shows that there's been value growth, but volumes have slowed down, right? Yeah. So what does your data show? So is it that there's recovery, or is it just restocking and price-based strategy? What do you think?
See, one very big change that has happened in last few years is consuming one meal outside the home or ordering one meal from outside the home has become very, very large. So what you are seeing differently vis-a-vis a consumer brand, agar aap product ghar pe lete the, vis-a-vis now you're ordering a food or you're eating outside. So the Horeca business has grown very, very fast, very, very large, because even so our factory is in a rural village of 10,000 population, लेकिन शाम को जब फैक्ट्री छूटती है आधे लोग घर जाने से पहले एक वड़ा पाव के काउंटर पे रुकेंगे, समोसे काउंटर पे रुकेंगे, एक समोसा खाएंगे, फिर घर जाएंगे. Even in a 10,000 village, 50% of the people will do that.
And of course, there's a Zomato and Swiggy epidemic in most urban areas,
More
right?
urban,
So
most urban.
Radhika Gupta from Edelweiss AMC, she confesses that her competition is not with other asset management companies, but with Zomato and Swiggy,
yeah.
right? So people are actually contemplating whether to add a sip or order more food at home.
So
completely-
categories are not growing slow, but they are moving towards Horeca, and because people are consuming outside.
I have one question for both Indraneel and Dipak. In your product category, these are mass market products. Do you see an opportunity of premiumizing your products and make it a more premium product? The product remains the same, but is there an opportunity? And I'll just share where my question is originating. I figured out a honey brand, which is pretty good. It usually sells in Oberoi's and other, but I figured out that company which grows that honey also sells honey at 1 lakh rupee per kg. Then there are buyers. They sell almost 50 kgs of honey a year, and largely it's exported. Do you see an opportunity of premiumizing, especially in the pickle side and potentially in your line? I mean, is there an opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. India mein top aapko who you want to serve? You want to serve the top 10 lakh population of the country, you want to serve the 10 lakh to the 3 crore population, the 3 crore to the 30 crore or the 30 crore and beyond. You have to take a choice. But once you make a choice, there is market, right? So there is a premiumization in every category possible. But
Even pickle?
Even pickle, yes. You can make a dry fruit pickle, you can make a very, very agar aap Indore jayenge, to dry fruit pickle is a large selling pickle. Indore is the foodie place, food hub hai. So dry fruit pickle is a large selling product there. So you can make a very, very premium pickle as well. And premium is actually a state of mind, not a product. So you can actually market it in such a way that
It's a positioning.
It's a positioning. So yeah, you can always do that.
And how about you in your?
Well, I do agree, and I think that's how we as a brand have always positioned ourselves. I think we've never competed in that 10 rupee, 5 rupee category at all. And that way, we've seen that, we have a better pricing power correction ability as well. So that way, we don't reel under the pressure when there is a input shock, which we've been seeing for the last quarter as well, in terms of the ingredients, the packaging, the petroleum, everything that's affecting us. But it's also the fact that, the way we have positioned the brand, the consumer that we are appealing to is willing to pay a premium to us, which is actually helping us retain that premiumization. But that also means that the better EBITDAs that we generate, the better profitability we generate per unit, are we reinvesting that into creating more premium categories and products? Is where I think the future lies.
My question was from that lens only.
So that's why I think it's not simply about what you're selling today and improving your pricing on it or yield for it, but it's also about the fact that are you able to keep retaining your premium position in the market by creating new products and categories and new customer zones also, where they are willing to pay that premium. And that's where the value proposition is evolving, especially with the whole food revolution that we see happening in India right now, and where the customers actually getting empowered to read the labels and see what's going inside. So that way, the more transparent you are with it, the more likely you are innovating in terms of how you are providing value there, and also just bridging the gap between what a brand manufactures, does supply chains, and actually reaches the consumer, and enable the transparency amidst this whole chain where many things are going wrong. I think if that is something that is solved with the right help from the bureaucracy as well, I think premiumization will continue accelerating at a faster pace.
So I think so. It is a reality which we may see that we might see Nilon limited edition and Chitale limited edition in times to come.
The brand will be different.
Yeah, brand could be different, but there could be a limited edition pickle. This is only going to be served to 100 families and only on invitation.
Yeah, kind of transformation Chitales have got into their business. I remember my college days. 1 ते 4 बंद, आमची कोठेही शाखा नाही आणि भाकरवडी संपली. These three were standard things there. And now you can see it online. You are calling from Gurgaon branch and you can get it 24/7. So total transformation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Manu, we've just been nudged about timeout.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it has been interesting, and we love to host you and great conversation. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.